This is the Seduction channel.
Hi, we're at the Fillmore East. No, I'm sorry, we're at the Immigrant Savings Bank that used to be the Fillmore East, and I'm here with Amalie Rothschild, who was, as she says, the fly on the wall, the person who took all the pictures of all of our favorites, including Pink Floyd, Janis Joplin, Led Zeppelin?
No Led Zeppelin.
So I just wore this shirt for nothing, did I?
You did.
Damn. Well, let's start with your journey. Your book, Live at the Fillmore East, there you go, was published in 1999, many years after the Fillmore was already
history.
Yeah. Did it take you a long time to decide on the photos?
There's no short answer.
Let's go with the long one.
Yeah, no, I started working at the Fillmore East I started hanging out and being part of the gang there in 1968, a couple of weeks after it opened, because I was in the building next door here, Central Plaza, which was the School of the Arts at NYU, and I was in the Graduate Institute of Film and TV. And in fact, all of the staff, for the most part, the tech staff at the Fillmore East, were NYU film students and theater tech students, because the theater tech and the film school were right next door. And when Bill Graham started renovating the theater, everybody began, what's going on here, and kind of less piled in, and were, it was an amazing, real place to work, which was totally adapted for theater tech people. And in fact, the head of the theater tech program, Chris Langhart, was the technical consultant for the Fillmore East, and a lot of his students ended up being staff and crew and helping to renovate the building. And Chris, by the way, just for those of you that don't know your history, was the technical director at the original 1969 Woodstock Festival as well. But so I was one of many NYU people that wandered in here and saw what a fantastic place it was, and began to hang out initially with the tech staff. And because my background is in photography and graphic design, I went to Rhode Island School of Design, and I was at NYU studying motion picture production. I had always had my Nikons with me, and back then it was a laissez-faire environment. I just was turned on by the music. It was all new to me, and I just started taking pictures because no one said I couldn't. And bit by bit, I began accumulating a lot of material, because I rolled my own film, did all my own developing, always had my own darkroom. And I started to work at the Fillmore on staff in April of 1969 because of a little incident that happened with the head of security, Jerry Pompili, because I had a pass. Which I could use to come and go as I pleased. And one of my friends and classmates from film school really wanted to see the band that weekend, and I can't remember what band it was, but against my better judgment, I let her talk me into sneaking her in, which I did, and I got caught. And Jerry Pompili said, you've destroyed our trust in you, and you will never blacken our doors again, and you're out. You can't. And he threw us both out, and I was like, gee, I can't let this happen. I belong here, and I realized that the only way to get back in was to get hired. And I had fallen in love with the light show, the Joshua Light Show, and I had studied it very carefully, and I knew exactly what its strengths and weaknesses were, and I realized that the light show was where I should work because my background was in photography and film and graphic design, and I could develop all kinds of software, film loops and little animated pieces and slides and graphic material to be incorporated into the light show in ways in which I thought the light show was weak in the first place, and therefore I had something to offer. So I immediately called up Josh White, and he made an appointment to see me, and I put a little portfolio together, and I went to see him, and he hired me on the spot because he agreed with the criticisms that I pointed out and what I said to him about how I thought I could contribute to the light show and what I would like to do. So he then took me right around to Kip Cohen, and I got my staff pass, and the following Friday I showed up around 5 in the afternoon, which is when the crew came in to set up for the 8 p.m. concert that evening, the first concert. There were 2 shows every night, every Friday night and every Saturday night at 8 and 11:30. Anyway, and showed Jerry that I now work for the Joshua Light Show, so you have to let me in. And to make that long story a little shorter, I mean, over the years he and I became very good friends. Actually, at the time we were kind of a prickly relationship, but later on that year, he actually moved out to the West Coast to work for Bill Graham in San Francisco. So, and years since then, he and I have maintained a good working relationship. And in fact, in some respects, I can thank him for helping me finally find the publisher for my book, which was a very nice thing to do.
So you made some good friends over there.
I've made wonderful, wonderful friends that I'm in contact with and have kept up with to this day.
Oh, groovy, baby. Yeah.